Hey guys, how y'all doing? I'm here to give you guys a recap on the new chapter of Shingeki no Kyojin, or you could call it Attack on Titan, on chapter 95. Now, this chapter right here, I had to reread it maybe a couple times to try to get the gist of it, or maybe give a simple summary of a certain recap of what's bound to come, or what's bound to happen. Although, depending on the situation, it may look like things may not go the way they might expect it to go. So, if anything else, let's just get this started. We have to it that Gabby and Reiner are being greeted by the other Eldians of the warriors, etc., to see how they're doing, especially everyone else. And we have, I think it's the Eldians or Mardians, I don't know. But whatever the case may be, they end up going to headquarters while Reiner is getting ready to talk about his mission with the others. We have to it that Gabby is heading to headquarters for training. And of course, they all, one of the guards, gave praise to Gabby a bit, but she does not seem very praiseworthy of it. And they go like, is she okay? She doesn't seem, she's very quiet today. Gabby was asked by, Rhino asked Gabby what's wrong with her since she's not really down or not really happy. She ends up telling Rhino that I'm pretty sure you're lying about something, aren't you? About what you said about the island, etc. And Auntie, Karina made notice of it, realizing it. And we have to it that Rhino says, well, maybe I was making my mother worry after coming back as a grown man. But Gabby tells Reiner, can you tell me the truth someday? The guy from the Research Titan Center told me about certain memories being passed down related by blood. Isn't that right? And Reiner confirms this by saying yes. She says, once I inherit the Armored Titan, you'll continue to live inside me. But if there's something you want to talk about, just tell me, alright? We can work things out together if we put it together and for the safe future of Eldia. And Reiner's like, okay, of course. But for the time being, I'll tell you later in the future, etc. And I'll tell you later in the future, etc. Possibly. And we have to it that Falco is getting ready for training, and he realizes that if he wants to save Gabby, he has to surpass her. And he ends up saying that the one who's going to inherit the Armored Titan is going to be me. And he gets a major headbutt from Gabby and challenges him by saying, go ahead and try and see what you can do. And Falco's like, oh yeah, I will. And we have to it that Gilliard, the one who inherited the Jaw Titan, along with Piek, the Cartman Titan, end up going to the meeting with, let me see here, Colt and what's the guy's name? Zeke. They end up having a little small talk of what's bound to happen later in the future. They end up, as usual, Zeke gives information to those who was at the meeting. Of course, that's Gillard, Reiner, the Cartman Titan, and Colt, I believe, Falco's brother. We have to it that he says that right now our power is really starting to be in total disarray. Right now, there are weapons that are able to surpass our Titan powers. Not to mention, we devote ourselves to Marley to show that we have true remorse of our actions of committed a sinful past. But right now, there are voices of the Eldians' elimination is growing louder. In other cases, they want the extermination of all Eldians. And of course, right now, like Zeke says, we're losing our Titan power. Not to mention, Marley will lose their power if we do not get the original Titan power soon. We will never be on top of superpower. Not to mention, our resources will run low. And some people in this world believes that Eldians don't deserve human rights and we deserve extinction. And the only way to fix this is to get their hands on the original Titan power as soon as possible and get the resources from Paradise Island, not to mention killing the devils of the Paradise Island. And we have to it that the Cartman Titan owner ends up saying, even though right now, even if we succeed to retrieve the original Titan, it's not going to be enough to alleviate their hatred. And Zeke therefore explains, yes, well noted. So what's important right now is to have a story narrative in order to erase all these sins. And we have to it that there's only one person who's able to do it, and that is the Tabar family, who's willing to take on that role to make a story about us. And Of course, we get to know the final Titan power, which is finally revealed in here, although I hope we get to see what it looks like in the future, is the Warhammer Titan's power is actually in the Tabar's family possession. Even right now, we have to it that we get to know that Zeke explains that the Tabar family is known to be the people who opposed King Fritz in the Great Titan War 100 years ago. And they were known to be honoring Marlians, along with many other things, with Marley and aliens working together. But we also see to it that the Cartman Titan owner ends up saying we'll still have some trouble, despite them dispose of King Fritz. They still have influence amongst other nations, and so if we pass through them, the world will at least listen to us, right? And Zeke says yes. And we have to it that Gilead is still concerned about this because they possess the Warhammer Titan's power, yet they did not raise a single damn finger to let them protect this country. Not to mention Eldians spend their lives in not to mention other Eldians are spending their lives in the ghetto, living a life of luxury in the extravagant estates. And right now, Gilead is trying to wonder right now, like, are we trying to pass on as valiant savers? Is this to be good true? Zeke, on the other hand, understands the Tabars, but we have to it that Gilead is still concerned. But Rhino says we have to put our mission to use as warriors and never give up. Right now, like, we had to revive the heroic nation of Marley, and that's about it. And therefore, Zeke says that we will invite the people of power and reporters from all other nations, and Tabar family will make a declaration that within 1 year we'll take control of Paradise Island, gather the resources and everything else. But at the same time, this is our last chance. We can't allow any more failures involved. That is what I'm telling you right now. And we have to it that the Marlians were actually listening onto the conversation through a certain device, and knowing how this is going to be done, they said that they will allow it for now as usual, as long as Zeke does not blurt anything out unnecessary. Even Reiner knows that they are being listened to and watched. And we get to see that Gabby is training with Falco, and she easily defeats him like no problem, while Falco looks on in distress, knowing that he's being defeated right now. Of course, Reiner himself knows that he has to go back to the island again, etc. And we'll have to go through that kind of hell with Eren, Mikasa, Armin, Levi, and the others. And I really hope we see them soon, because it's been like many months already that we haven't seen them in terms of chapter months released every month. But aside from that, we have to it that we go back into the backstory of Reiner, where the female Titan is in the possession of Annie, and it gives out very high good results, as it's known to be very versatile, capable of almost anything, high agility, durability, and giving her a hardening ability. Annie's strikes would be very destructive. As for Reiner himself, who's given the Armored Titan's ability, we have to it that it will destroy gates and walls, along with having to shield itself against many powerful attacks. And as for the Jaw Titan, which was in the previous owner, which is Marcel, the Jaw Titan's known as more of a powerful battle type, with able to break almost anything with his tough jaws and fingernails. And the Beast Titan, which is in the possession of Zeke, of course, shows how strong he is in terms of pitching skills, and he holds a secret power that's called him a child prodigy. And the other Titan, which is in Piek, of course, which that's the person's name of the Cartman Titans for the time being. It relies on certain durability. It can rely on longer missions, etc. in terms of speed. And the last Titan is the Colossal Titan. It's known as the God of Destruction, because we all know the Colossal Titan blows up into thin air and knows how to destroy things with just its steam, etc. It belonged to Bertolt, but we already know where that went. And we also see to it that they see results of the Titans, and one of the commanders of Marley is still concerned about this, sending 4 children alone on this mission to retake the original Titan is pretty crazy. But the other commander says, hey, didn't you see the results though? They could actually do this still. And we see to it that Zeke, Annie, Piek, Reiner, Bertolt were there. Of course, Marcel, Bertolt, Annie, and Reiner were given the chance to go after the original Titan and retake it on Paradise Island. Of course, there was a scene between Reiner and Poco or Gilliard, who apparently is the the current owner of the Jaw Titan, of course. Of course, this is Reiner's backstory, just to remind you. Ends up saying, how in the hell did they choose you? What kind of strings did you pull? And Reiner just disses him out and says, well, let me see here. I'm not the loser here. You are. That's why. Is there anything else to say? And of course, like, Marcel stops Poco or Gilliard to like to not cause a fight, otherwise he will be in trouble. And we have to it that Marcel apologizes to Reiner, which Reiner does not understand. And we get to see that Reiner tries to meet his father and tries to talk to him. He goes like, hey, look, I just got a glimpse of your face, you know. Look, I'm an honorary Molyneux now, you know. As usual, if we could give notice and go outside the walls, maybe you and I can live, mom and dad can live together. But his father kind of dissed him off and says, I'm pretty sure your mother wants revenge and she told you go after me, right? If you want me dead, all because I bet your mother wants me dead anyway, all because I ran away from you freaking devils. And I'm thinking in my mind, oh my gosh, you mean this guy literally just had like some kind of like sexual activity with her, and he thinks that this person, that Reiner's mother wants revenge. And Reiner did try to talk to his father, but it did not come out so well, and he's much likely a tossed up jerk. So that's when Reiner, when he's going on his mission, of course, he says his goodbye to the Eldians and his mother, and later on he realizes that he does not need a father. He became a warrior chosen to inherit the armor Titan and save everyone from Paradise Island, etc. And he says he wants to be a hero that can save the world. After landing on the island and giving certain like missions here and there and reminders of what they're supposed to do, especially when to meet up with them on every month, the full day of the moon is when they do a couple things here and there. And we get to know that Reiner, Annie, Bertolt, and Marcel ends up having a little small talk with each other, etc. to trying to make sure that we should get back to the mission now. And they were concerned about the power of the original Titan, etc. What was bound to happen. And we have two at the Reiner ask him, don't tell me you guys are scared. You guys are hesitant to kill the devils on this island? Did you guys not remember that these guys are a threat to the world, right? So try not to give up so easily. And we have to it that Marcel tells Reiner he's sorry once more. And he ends up telling Reiner that he was not supposed to be a chosen warrior. I only kept talking praise about you and talking bad about my brother to influence the army's decision. And I just wanted to protect him. So it looks like to me, Marcel does come out with the truth to Reiner by saying, you know, you're not supposed to be a chosen warrior. I literally just give praise to you and talk bad stuff about my brother so I could protect him, which I appreciate Marcel's decision, but to tell Reiner at this time it is pretty devastating. But Reiner does not mind and says, why are you apologizing, you know, as Reiner in the next morning. Of course, that morning is when Ymir and Reiner's backstory, of course, ate Marcel when Marcel pushed Reiner out of the way from not being eaten. And we have to it that Reiner continues to run towards the walls with Annie and Bertolt at his side, knowing that they can't go back. And he runs for his life, heading towards destruction, which just shows that whatever Reiner's doing right now is what he's done. Which I'm pretty sure that next month will lead to what happened to the next chapter, and I'm pretty sure we all know what that is. So in this chapter right here, like I said, in a certain way, it was nothing more than going to headquarters, talking about a plan to make sure to boost the Eldians' innocence and say that we are remorseful for our actions and we're gonna have to solve all this in a certain way. Of course, Zeke is planned all this out to try to say that the Eldians are not bad people. We are remorseful for our actions and we have changed. Not to mention, we get the final Titan power, which is the War Hammerhead Titan, I believe. War Hammer Titan power. So yeah. And of course, the other family, of course, the Tabar family is supposed to be some kind of help in a certain way. And the rest of the chapter, after the Zeke explaining his mission about the Tabars and the Eldians, it goes into the rest of Reiner's backstory of where it began. And the ending of the chapters start off where the walls will be destroyed. And I'm pretty sure next month it will show how the walls being destroyed, etc. So it looks like to me we don't really know what's about to happen, but one thing for sure, it's not going to be looking pretty from here on out. So until then, I'll see you guys in my next video. So I'm Alpha Zero, people. Have a good day. And I apologize if you got really confused about me recapping this chapter, although this is a very long recap, which I should have warned a long time ago, etc. But until then, I'll see you guys later, alright? Go read the chapter yourself to understand the whole situation and what the plan is for Zeke and the others to figure out what their next move will be on Paradise Island. So until then, peace out. Bye-bye. Doo-doo-doo!